Hello, it's Richard C. Wilson, founder of the Family Office Club, coming to you from the front of the Raffles Hotel. I'm here in downtown Singapore, which you can see behind me. I wanted to record a quick video because I have 3 different friends going through potential exit events. They're all cash flowing at $5 to $10 million a year. They all have net worths of 50 to 150 million, but it's all locked up within their businesses. So I want to create a short video on what I'm advising them to do to get started on exploring a liquidity event, whether it's a minority sale or a majority sale. The first thing is you should figure out what is your profits and EBITDA after a normalized salary is taken out and your expenses are added back. What I mean by that is if you're paying yourself just $200,000 a year, but a CEO at your level should be compensated at $1 million per year as an industry standard, you have to adjust that in your level of profits. Also, if you are writing off lots of expenses like travel and a nice car and an overpriced other personal expenses related to living expenses and taking advantage of that as a business owner, then you need to adjust that for your profits because you might be understating your profits in that way. And investors want to know what your standardized profitability and your standardized EBITDA, which is another form of talking about profitability, a slightly different calculation, is. That's an important first step. The second step is you need to figure out what's your list of 30 to 100 strategic investors that could acquire or invest in your business. If you do that, then you can strategically start meeting them for breakfast, cups of coffee, taking them out for dinners, going to their offices, inviting them to your offices, looking out for them at conferences, and planting the seed that potentially they should invest in your company as a strategic investor or be a board member, or just give you advice and stay in touch. And then that way, 3 years from now, when you have a big exit, you could potentially go to them and they'll be able to say to their board, I've known him for 3 years, I've watched him grow, and it could be a much more productive investor conversation. The next thing you should do is consider whether you could roll up some smaller players in your industry. You might be doing something like $10 or $20 million in revenue, or maybe much more, and you might be able to acquire some different companies that are doing $1 million or $2 million in revenue, and they could be added to your platform. That can make your company much more valuable, and if you can do that just once or twice per year, over time it can lead to a really accelerated growth rate and a much higher valuation. Many times you get a much higher valuation multiple on your times revenue or times profit valuation if your revenue is above a critical mass level of 20 million, 30 million, 50 million a year in revenue. And it really starts to jump up once you get to the 10 million plus in revenue. The last thing I wanted to mention is that you should consider what your number is in case you need to do a minority sale now and a majority sale later. And you should consider which investors are not just going to add capital to the story, but they're going to add strategic value, which could open doors, lead to more distribution, more introductions, more progress every day. And if you can focus on adding investors to your cap table who are strategically very valuable, it's going to lead to you having a much larger company in the future. So while they might buy 3% of your company, they might make you worth 5% more as a company on day one because of their strategic value. And so I keep that in mind as well. You really want to play a medium to long-term game when raising capital or working with investors. Otherwise, you're going to lose because it's really the medium to long-term that matters. So planting seeds, being patient, and strategically talking to 30 to 50, even up to 100 different types of investors can be very helpful. But hopefully just after 2 to 5 that can be most strategic, you make progress and get your deal done. If you're looking to raise capital for your company or exit your company and you'd just like some feedback, please reach out. My name is Richard Wilson, Family Office Club, or you can check out our family office advisory work at centumbillionaires.com. Our Family Office Club website is familyoffices.com. Take care.